Hi.
Hey,
Hi, it's nice to meet you. I don't know if
yeah,
you can
nice to
see it,
meet
but
you.
I'm wearing some
Oh,
elemental
I love the sweater.
merch.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, of
awesome. That's so
course.
cool.
We even have the bag.
What? That's awesome.
Guys even have a watch.
What? Got everything.
Yeah, you guys have
Wait,
a lot of
bring
merch.
that. Wait, bring that watch up again. Let me see the watch. Yeah, that's cool. Oh man, that's awesome, Evan.
Right? You like it?
Yeah.
I'm really stoked to be here doing this interview. Let me introduce myself. I'm Evan Tan. I'm a content creator with total of more than 12 million followers. And of course, I'm going to be doing your interview for today.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thank you so much, Evan.
Actually, I just watched Elemental yesterday, and I have to say, I really, really enjoyed it. I loved it.
Yeah, that's great.
More than that, I could say that I personally really related to the story, especially with the life of Ember. So she has this pressure of taking over a family business, and I too have a family business. And also, she has this struggle following what her family wants as opposed to what she wants. And like me,
Yeah.
I'm a content creator now, but I had to take engineering in uni because, Asian thing. I feel like this is a very Asian thing, right?
Yeah.
So I want to ask, is this movie perhaps like based on, or did you get inspiration from the experiences that a lot of Asians have, or perhaps your personal experiences as one?
Yeah, so much of my personal experiences for sure were the seeds to the film. But I work at a place where there's so much diversity and so much of the crew from all over the world. Asians, South Americans, Europeans, everywhere, Canadians, they all brought in different aspects of their lives to the film. And what was funny was that even though I grew up in a very Asian community, and I totally connect to what you're talking about, the burden, it was surprising at how many other cultures were going through the same thing, and it started to make us feel like, oh, this is a world that could be really resonant with a lot of people. And there was a power to that when we all started connecting on these ideas.
Wow, so it's actually more of a universal thing, not just an Asian thing, but something that I think a lot of
Yeah.
people can relate to. So we can say that these are experiences and conflicts that we can really look forward to in this film. Actually, there was this scene where I think it was Ember's grandmother's last wish was like marry fire, and I've read that it's actually based on a true story that you have experienced. Is this correct?
Yes, it is true. My grandmother, when I was in high school, told all of us before she passed away, like "한국 여자 한국 여자네," which is like "Marry Korean," and she like passed away, and it was so much pressure, And when I found the person that I was going to marry, my wife, it created so much like crazy drama in my family, and some really tough, but some really hilarious that we were trying to put into the film. But it definitely comes from a real place.
Wow. So you say there's lots of personal experiences that you actually were able to portray into this movie. So it's like kind of like based on a true story, like bits by bits, based on your own life. Pixar is actually known to bring anything to life, right? We've had toys, bugs, monsters, cars, fish, robots, even emotions like non-tangible. But for this show, you actually chose to stick with elements. So why did you choose elements for this film?
I grew up in New York City, and growing up there, when my parents had got there, they had this grocery store. So many different types of customers came into the store, and it was in the middle of these apartment complexes. And growing up, that idea of different cultures living together really looked the same as a periodic table. The periodic table elements looked like apartment complexes to me, and it had the same sort of like different buildings of like copper lives next to helium, but don't trust them because they're gassy. And so all this fun stuff started coming out of there. But there were so many different elements, and there were really confusing stuff. And so I boiled that down to the classical elements, and then all of a sudden I feel like a lot of it became more accessible, and people got what fire was and water was versus chromium or barium. And so that boiling down gave me the same metaphor of what I remember growing up with. A lot of different communities that were trying to come together, all trying to make a life for their families and for themselves. And that's how that all started.
Oh yeah, it's something like just different nationalities, cultures that mixed up in New York, which is where you grew up in, and that's where you base the story off, right? Something like that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like again, what was so interesting was that's how it started as a seed, but people came from like there was a friend from Venice that was bringing all their stuff, from China, from everywhere. People would bring they would talk about their cities, and there was a lot of cities that had issues of people coming from the country moving all the way into the big city, or coming from another country, and there was so many connections that were being made. It was quite exciting.
Yes, like it's kind of like a struggle that a lot of them can relate to, especially moving in. Yeah. So, how long did this whole production actually take?
It took a long time. It was 7 years from when I first pitched it all the way till, a month ago when we finished the film. Those first year of pitching it, I was just by myself. It wasn't really a production really just yet, you know what I mean? But I like being truthful about like when I first pitched the idea, But the average Pixar film takes about 5 years, Up and Coco took about 7, Brave took 8, they all have their lifespan. But this one, the reason that part of the reason that took so long was just the technology. We just didn't have the technology to make these types of characters, and that pipeline took quite a bit of time.
Oh yeah. Actually, I read that it was quite difficult for you guys to animate the characters since they weren't really like physical objects, right? There's like reflections you had to do in shadows. Like, can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the goals that I wanted to do was to try to make the element characters like the elements, not a human wearing an elemental suit, or not a human that's on fire like the Human Torch or a superhero. I just wanted them to be made from that element. So when you see Ember, our fire character, she should be gassy. There shouldn't be any skeleton. There shouldn't be a skull. There shouldn't be bones. She should be fluid like a gas. And so that already presented challenges because we've done toys, we've done cars. They were all hard objects that you can manipulate. This required new roads and new controls, which we had to build. Like, you have to build that from scratch. There's no button. Maybe with AI now, maybe there will be a button that goes like, make those controls, but we all had to make those controls by hand, and so it was, for the animators, someone had once said, oh, you can motion capture all this. And I was like, why would we do that? Then they should be humans. And so we to try to not make them human, the characters' arms would bend without an elbow. They would be more loosey, they would disappear. And so the animators had to come up with a lot of different tools to make those characters come alive.
Great. Well, what message or impact are you hoping the audience will take home from this movie?
Look, we made this movie for the big screen to have a great time there. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of visual impact. The fidelity of the image we worked really hard on so that when you're in the big screen, you can have a great time. I really believe that when you're with a lot of people, either laughing or crying, there's a shared chemistry that's going on that you can't get anywhere else. And so that's one of the first things. The second thing, look, the heart of this movie has always been about being grateful for the people that have sacrificed things for you. And so if people are having a good time and they're walking out of the film, if they're just like, boy, I want to just call that person that took that risk for me or sacrificed something for me, that would be the best. Evan, I would be crying in a puddle over here, knowing that could ever happen.
Yeah, I almost cried too watching that movie actually.
Right on.
I heard that you have a surprise for us today.
Yes. Is this me getting to draw an elemental version of something? So I've got this Procreate here. All right, so Evan, I'm gonna draw you. I'm gonna need to see you though.
Oh gosh.
Okay with doing this.
This is such an honor. Wow. I hope I can like.
Well, don't be honored just yet. Let me try to get this drawing here first. So our elemental characters don't have human noses, so I'm gonna try to do a more elemental nose here.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It was really cute. You know what? I will try to surprise you too and try to draw you as well. I'm not good at drawing, but I decided I wasn't gonna leave you drawing alone.
Well, are you already done? Dang, hold on. Jeez.
I'm not. I don't even do the drawing.
Okay, good. We'll finish here. We still have a little bit to go. Did you get something already?
It does not look like an element. I have no idea how you guys do it. So really, like, wow. This is an elemental. It looks like a potato.
It looks like a potato? Oh my god, I gotta see this thing. Okay, this is as close as I can get it. Okay, here.
Wow.
I'll show mine. Well, as I said, does not look like an elemental.
Let's see it.
Wait.
That's dumpling style, dude. That's so funny.
I don't even know what this is anymore. It's not fire at all. It's not.
That's awesome, man. It's so funny. I'm gonna call this Aqua Evan.
So am I officially into the elemental universe?
Yes, hell yeah.
See? You heard it, folks. From the man himself, Peter Sohn. I'm now part of Elemental.
Thank you, Evan. This was awesome, man. This was so funny.
Thank you for meeting me.
Thank you, Evan. Thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet
much.
you. I just finished the interview a few hours ago, and apparently Director Peter Sohn requested for my drawing. It's the drawing to the So I added my signature as well, and they're going to be shipping it all the way to South Korea. It's surprising why he requested for it. I guess he liked it. Well, I don't know. I hope he liked it. It does not look like an elemental, it looks like a potato. Just wanted to follow up with that. Gonna add a message at the back for him. And yeah. See you guys in my next video.